Hello, good morning. I hope you can hear me well. Today is Sunday, the 25th of July, and I'm gonna do just some grounding stuff, some short practice on the mat, just to see how I do. But first, we're gonna start with our breath, because this week has been, or I should say the last week for me has been pretty stressful, and sometimes when you're stressed out you forget to breathe. So first we're gonna sit in a nice comfortable seat, either crisscross like this, or you can stretch your legs out. I have a chair behind me, so you can lean back in your chair if you're in the chair, and I'm just gonna sit crisscross like this. My hands are on my knees, or you can put your hands on your thighs or in your lap. And just gonna close our eyes or lower your gaze, and I'm gonna take a round of deep breaths. So we're gonna inhale for 4, hold, and then exhale for 4 and hold. So exhale out all your air. Take a small breath. And let's begin to breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do a couple of those. So inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Since we're already sitting here, we're gonna warm up our necks and shoulders, because that's where I've been feeling the most tension this week. So I feel like I need to loosen up that area of my body this morning. So first I'm gonna twist my neck from side to side, but I'm gonna use my breath. So I'm gonna inhale, turn my head to the right, and then exhale, turn my head to the left. So we're gonna start. Ready? Let's go. Inhale. Exhale, turn your neck to the left. Turn your head to the left. Inhale. Head to the right. Exhale. Head to the left. Let's do a couple more rounds of this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Now we're gonna roll our necks. So or roll ahead so that we release some tension in our necks. So first let's bring your chin to your chest, and then we're just gonna roll it from side to side, at least at first. So let's start from the left. We're gonna roll your head to the left, just up to your shoulders, and then to the right. Left and right. And you should start feeling something in your neck, either sides of the neck or it could be the back. Just feel the sensations of how that feels in your body. If you want to do a bit more, you can keep rolling all the way back. Be careful when you're rolling your head back to not open up your throat too much. You don't want to torque your neck back too much. So let's to the other side. So you can keep going on one side, get that full neck stretch in there. One more time to the left. And then once your chin hits your chest again, you can go switching to the other side. So switch to the right, or whatever side you were doing before, you want to switch that side. So just very gently rolling your neck out. Let's do one more round. And bring your chin back to your chest. Lift your head up and take a deep breath in. Exhale out through the mouth. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, so now we're going to roll our shoulders out. So you can start with one direction. I'm going to start going backwards. And your hands can be on your knees or on your thighs. Wherever you feel comfortable, you can put your hands while you're rolling out your shoulders back. And then when you're ready, you can switch directions. So now I'm rolling my shoulders forward. Oh, it feels really good in my shoulders. Okay. So now we're gonna do some seated cat-cows before we go into actual cat-cows, just to release. So we've released our neck and shoulders, so we just want to continue the stretching while we're still sitting. So now we're gonna be breathing through our noses, and you wanna take a deep breath and arch your back. So we're doing cat first. Just arch your back as far back as you can go while seated. And inhale, bring your chest to the front. Lift your head and your neck, and let your heart shine forward. And then you wanna arch arch your back again, inhaling or exhaling, depending on where you are in your stretch. And then bring your heart forward again, shining your chest forward, tucking your head back a bit, lifting your forehead up. And let's do this for a couple rounds. You don't have to go back as far, just as much as feels comfortable for you. Okay, so now we're going to do some actual cat-cows. So you're going to come onto tabletop with your hands under your wrists under your shoulders. You want to spread your fingers wide on the mat to give you that stability on your shoulders. Notice my back is flat. I have my knees right under my hips, so I'm not like back like this or too much forward like this. I'm like right over. So that is tabletop. And for cat-cows, you want to use your breath to go into the cat-cow. So you inhale, drop your tummy and lift your head up for cow, sorry. So this is cow pose. And then exhale back to cat pose. You tuck your tummy in and pull your navel all the way back while you arch your back. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Let's do a couple more rounds. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And we're going to come back to a neutral spine, flat back. And we're going to just come back to child's pose. So child's pose, you put your toes together, and there are a couple ways you can do child's pose. You can have your knees together and just fold back, lean forward onto your tummy. You can have your legs wide or a little wide. I'm going to do a wide leg child's pose today. So my toes are touching behind me, and I'm going to just sit back onto my heels, and I'm going to bring my body down to the mat in child's pose. Take a couple breaths here. One more deep breath in. And come back to tabletop position. So I'm gonna put my hands in position, bring my knees in from my child's pose, and we're gonna do downward facing dog. So you tuck your toes onto the mat and you lift your knees up. You can lift your knees up first slowly, and then just push your butt back to downward facing dog. So I'll come up a little bit so you can see where my feet are. So there we go. So your feet may not touch the mat like me. You may be up on your toes like this, or maybe a little more down. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you push your butt back and up toward the ceiling while having your hands on the mat. So if having your hands down on the mat is uncomfortable for you, you can use blocks to kind of bring the floor up. So you would put the blocks on the floor, on the mat, sorry, and then you would put your hands on the mat. So that kind of helps you bring your, it'll help you, it will reduce the pressure on your wrists because it's not, you don't have to stretch all the way to the floor. It can also help you bring your heels down to the floor. So let me come up so you can see. So you see my hands are on the blocks like this, and you want to bring your butt back to form that V shape. In terms of how wide your feet need to be for downward dog, it can be as wide, well, not too wide, but typically you want it like right under your hips. Right under your hips. I tend to have mine slightly closer together, but you want to make sure that you're comfortable in your downward dog. So I'm gonna step back a little bit and stretch all the way back as much as you can. You can use the, like I said, you can use the blocks. Here we go. Get that nice stretch in. Excellent. And then we're gonna come back down to tabletop. I'm gonna come up again to downward dog because I want to move to the front of my mat into a standing posture. So I'm gonna come back up to downward dog. I'm gonna lift my right leg up and back, and I'm going to step my hands, bring my feet forward, and then I'm going to bring my other foot forward. So there's actually a couple ways you can do this as well. So when you first start to get to the top of the mat, you can, let me move this from here, you can just make little baby steps to the front of the mat from downward dog, or you can just like I did, use your momentum of your feet, look forward towards where you want your feet to go, and you bring your foot between your hands like this. Then you bring your other foot forward, and now you're in forward fold. So you want to just fold over your legs. You can bend your knees for this first forward fold and just release your head down. And you can sway side to side. You can hold your elbows with your hands while you sway. If that helps release your lower back a little bit. Oh, that helps a lot. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Lift up a little bit to halfway lift. So halfway lift can look like this. This is the full expression here, but you can have it. Halfway lift can be with your hands on your thighs, hands on your shins. So you see the flat back with the shins. I usually sometimes do it like this if my hamstrings are too tight, but you can also halfway lift from off the ground as well if you want more of a challenge. So halfway lift, forward fold, and then you want to step back to plank position. So just take your left foot, step back to plank, right foot, step back, and now I'm in my plank pose. I'm going to come all the way down to the floor, and I'm gonna do cobra, so I can do a little bit so you can see me in the shot. So let's just do Sphinx pose today. So Sphinx pose, you just put your arms out straight ahead like this, and make sure your toes are untucked, your feet are, the tops of your feet are touching the mat, and it's a Sphinx pose. Let's take a few breaths here. And put this over here. All right, so now that we're on our tummies, you can do crocodile. So crocodile is just putting your arms in the front of you and just lying with your head on your arms. I'm just gonna take some deep breaths. One more breath. Okay, so I want to continue stretching my shoulders. So I am going to put my hands out into a T like this. I'm going to put my right cheek on the mat first so you can see me. And then I'm going to lift my, if you can see my leg, I am going to lift my left leg up, just my right foot up, and then I'm going to twist over I'm going to put my left leg behind my right leg. So I'm going to just roll over like this and get that nice stretch in my shoulder back, in my shoulder blade back there. So you can bring your hand in, your elbow in like this to support you while you're doing this. Your foot does not have to touch the ground. It can touch like your leg. You can be on your toes, on your left toe back there. It's a nice stretch for the shoulder blade. And if you need to come out of it early, you can. Just bring your leg back and turn your head to the right side this time. And then you want to lift your right leg up, your right foot up. You're just bending it at the knee, and then you just twist your body back, your right foot back behind your left foot, and you can bring your hands up, your hand on the mat to support you as you do this twist. So you should be feeling some sensations in your shoulder area. So you can come all the way back like I am, but that might be too much. So you don't want to torque your shoulder too much. You want to make sure you don't hurt yourself doing this. So if you find that it's too much, you can roll back a little bit. So now I'm rolling forward slightly. Take some of that pressure off of this left arm here. And let's roll back. Roll back in there and turn my head to the left side. I'm gonna bring your arms back in right under your shoulder blades. Put your chin on the mat and lift yourself up to tabletop position. Now let's do one more shoulder stretch before we move on. We're going to do thread the needle. So in this pose, you're in tabletop position. You can bring your right hand in a little bit to support you. Make sure it's right under your shoulder blade, right under your shoulders. Your fingers spread wide, and lift your left hand up to the ceiling, and then you thread it between your arm and your knees, and then you bring your shoulders down toward the mat. You can keep your hands right under your shoulders, or you can stretch them out to get a nice stretch. If you stretch your arm out, bring it back towards your underneath your shoulder to support you. As you bring yourself back up, lift your head up and bring your arm back up towards the ceiling, your left arm, and then place your hands on the mat, and we're going to do the other side. So you inhale, bring your right arm up, and then you exhale, thread the needle with your right arm this time. Like I said, you can leave your left arm under your left hand under your shoulder, or you can stretch it out to get this really nice stretch. Inhale, bring your arm back under your shoulder if you stretched it out. And then exhale, bring your right arm up again. And then place it toward the mat. I'm going to do some cat-cows to reset. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale. Exhale. And you can find some organic movement while you're doing cat-cows. So one of the things I like to do is to do circles with my hips one way or the other. Well, you start in one direction and then you can switch directions. You can twist from side to side. They help with loosening up the shoulders as well, or you can move front to back, so you can go forward like this and then back to child's pose, forward and back. So you can choose whatever option you would like to do. Okay, so let's step back to, let's tuck our toes and do one more downward facing dog. You can pedal out your feet while you're doing downward dog, just to loosen up your hamstrings and your quads. So still your legs, still your body. And let's do some sun salutations while we're here. So we're gonna walk, step, or jump to the front of the mat. So you can step to the front, or you can gently do little baby steps up to the front of the mat to your forward fold. And forward fold again can be done with blocks if you can't reach all the way down to the mat, or like I mentioned before, with shins or thighs. So you can forward fold with the blocks here, and then we're gonna lift all the way up, hands to ceiling, look up, and then bring your hands down to heart center. Take a deep breath and out. Inhale and out. So let's start with our sun salutations. So I'm going to first stand in mountain pose. That is mountain pose, feet together, hands at the side, and this is mountain pose. So now we're going to start doing our sun salutations. So you want to start facing the front of your mat. Inhale, hands up, overhead. You can either leave them just overhead, or you can touch them in prayer pose, prayer position, and then you fold over to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, let's do baby cobra. So you're just gently lifting your back up. Exhale, back to downward dog. So there are a couple ways you can do this. You can go through tabletop and then downward dog, or you can just lift up, tuck your toes, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk or step up to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees and bring your arms all the way up, very slowly, lifting all the way up to the ceiling, and bring your hands back down to heart center. And that was our first sun salutation. So we're gonna do a couple more. So inhale, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Inhale, bring your chest down to the mat. Sorry, that was exhale, bring your chest down to the mat. Inhale, lift up to baby cobra, or this is cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes and back to downward dog. Let's take a few breaths here. Inhale, look up to the top of your mat and step forward to forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bring your arms up slowly, reaching up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do one more sun salutation. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Exhale, down to the mat. Bring your chest down to the mat. Inhale, you can do baby cobra or full cobra. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, look up to the top of your mat. Exhale, step forward to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly bring your hands up and your whole body up. Look up to the ceiling with your hands up. Exhale. Bring your hands to heart center. One more time, bring your hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, let's bring our knees back to tabletop. And then let's come back on the floor. You can sit back on your knees, or you can swing your feet out, straight out in front of you. Gonna do some forward bending. So there are a couple ways you can do this. You can have your feet straight out in front of you, or you can put your feet together in butterfly pose. Flap your wings a little bit. Let me turn forward so you can see my butterfly wings. I'm gonna inhale my hands up, and I'm gonna fold over. Exhale, fold over. If this feels uncomfortable, you can open your legs out like this, wide, and fold over. So you could be right here, you can be here, remember this is your practice, and you have to know how your body feels in a pose. And you can only do, you know that you can do the best that you can. So you don't ever want to force yourself into a pose in yoga. You want to always make sure it feels comfortable, but you are still challenging yourself. So it's just like, just at the edge of discomfort. It's not pain. If you're feeling pain when doing any yoga pose, you need to come out of the pose, either a little bit or all the way out. You don't want to put yourself in pain. Doing asana practice is not about if I can have this pose that I see on Instagram. It's about learning how your body feels, learning what you can do, and maybe challenging yourself to do more. So you want to come up out of that. Lift up. Bring your feet together. You want to flex your toes, backward and forward, wriggle your toes, circle your ankles. You can also shake your legs out. It feels comfortable. Put your feet on the floor and we're just gonna roll back flat on the floor. Come up so you can see me a little bit. So now we're gonna do some bridge pose. So you want to bring your feet, please make sure your feet are flat on the floor and your knees are facing the ceiling. And you want to lift up your butt. So if you have a block or a pillow, you can do supported bridge. So you're just gonna lift up your butt and just scoot the block right under your butt, so you're not torquing your back. So you can use the flat side or you can use the higher side if you want to go a little higher. So this is called supported bridge pose, where you're not using your whole thighs to do the work, you're just enjoying the lift. If you want more of a challenge, and you can do bridge by yourself, you can just lift up. I actually find it helpful to use my arms, like robot arms, to keep my butt up. I feel like I have more support that way. Takes a little bit of pressure off of my knees, puts it on my arm a little bit. If you want more of a challenge, you can put your arms, interlace your arms under your shoulders like this. But my arms are not there today, so I'm just going to do my little robot arms and come down. And let's do windshield wiper your knees from left to right. We're going to do some twists to your tummy if that feels okay. So actually no, let's do figure form. So you take your right leg, your right foot, and you cross it on top of your left foot like this, and you can leave it like this. And if you feel any sensations there, that might be enough for you to feel that nice sensation in your outer thigh and hip. If you need to feel more sensation, you can bring your hands right under behind your thighs. You may feel some sensations there. If you need more sensation, you can take your hands and put it in front, just underneath your knee, to get that sensation in your outer thighs and hips. And I find that gently rocking helps me feel a little bit more sensation. So I like that. But this might be too much for you, you know. So you want to always, like I said, you don't want to be in pain. You want to just feel a really nice sensation when you do this. So you don't have to go all the way here. You can always come back here, or just put your foot on the floor. Lovely. Let's do the next side. Inhale. Just bring your left foot up. Cross your foot onto your left foot, onto your right foot. Now, when you're doing that, you want to make sure your foot is flexed. So you can see, I'm demonstrating on my right foot so you can see it, but see that how my foot is like facing the camera? It's totally flexed, because that protects your knee from getting injured. So when you do it on the left side, make sure your foot is flexed, and bring your right knee into your chest, either with your hands behind your thigh or just under your knee, and feel that sensation on your outer thigh and or hips, that general area there. Just feel, notice where you feel the sensation. Notice where you feel the sensation. And we're gonna release your foot down to the floor. Bring your other foot down to the floor. And we're just gonna drop our knees to the left for a twist. Make sure you can tee out your arms or have them in a cactus shape or goalpost shape. I like to tee out my arms. When you're doing the twist, make sure that your shoulder is on the mat. So don't worry about bringing your knees all the way down. You want to make sure when you're twisting, your shoulder is on the mat, because that means that you're twisting your side body. So you may use a block or a pillow under your knees so that your shoulder can be on the mat when you stretch. And then look up to the ceiling, or if it's accessible for you, you can look all the way to the right. And just breathe. So bring your knees up and switch sides. So whatever side you just did, you're gonna do the reverse. So tee out your arms or cactus, then just twist your knees to the right. I'm using the block again, and notice my shoulder is on, my whole arm is on the mat. So I'm not lifting up, my shoulder isn't lifted up so that I can twist all the way this way. See, like if I did it like that, my shoulder would be too much lifted. I'm bringing my whole arm down, so my shoulder's on the mat, and I'm using the block to support my knees so that I can get a comfortable stretch. Now you can put it a little lower so that you stretch a little more. you can twist your whole knees down, but always make sure your shoulders on the floor when you're doing your twist. So let's bring our knees up. Make sure you're realign yourself so that your back is flat on the mat. And you want to take, let's do one last pose before we go into Shavasana or corpse pose. We're going to do happy baby. So you want to take your feet up, and you can either hold on to your toes, you can hold on to the inside of your feet or the outside of your feet or the back of your thighs, whatever feels comfortable for you. And you can rock your baby. I'm gonna hold the outside of my feet. This is happy baby, especially when you can rock it. Happy baby. Now I'm gonna bring my feet all the way down flat on the mat. So there are a couple of ways you can do Shavasana. The most important part of Shavasana is that your back is flat on the mat. So if you're lying down, and with your legs out, and you find that you have this arch underneath here, you would want to use pillows under your knees. So sometimes I use the blocks under my knees so that my back is flat on the floor. If you don't have blocks, you can use pillows, anything to kind of prop your legs up. If you have, so I am actually facing the couch, so you can use the couch to get your back flat on the floor. So you would just put your feet up, all the way up, put your butt up to the couch, and put your feet up, and that can be your Shavasana. That actually feels really great. So you want to put your hands next to you, either palms facing down or up. You could also do this with a wall. If you have a wall, you can do legs up the wall and just put your feet up on the wall, and you're flat, and you can do Shavasana with your legs up if that feels good for you, or if you have a wall close by. I don't, but I have the couch right here, so I'm gonna just put my legs up. Let me do it this way so you can see me, because there's a chair right here. Oh, it's very convenient. So you can do Shavasana just like this. Close your eyes and just let go of any thoughts that may be floating around in your mind. Just let go and breathe. Listen to your breath. So thankful for breath and being able to breathe. When you're ready to come out of Shavasana, or you can keep staying in Shavasana. It's your practice. If you feel like you need to keep doing this relaxing posture, please feel free to stay here. But if you're ready to come out, you want to start railing your fingers and toes, get some sensation back into the fingers and toes. If you had your feet propped up on the couch like me, you may want to take them down. Just push back yourself away from the couch. Keeping your eyes closed as much as you can. And you want to turn to your left or to your right in fetal position. Just for a little bit. And then slowly bring yourself up and find a comfortable seated position. Keeping your eyes closed, we'll bring our hands up overhead, our palms together. Bring your palms to your third eye, and then bring your hands to your heart center. Feel your heart beating slowly. We are here. We are still alive. Thankful for our breath today. Thank you for joining me for this practice today. Namaste.